Hallo miteinander, I'm Gish86 and this is Labyrinth of Touhou Try. We are now in the fire stratum, also called the battleground of the unforgiven. This zone has a fundamental change to the narrative of its boss fights. The allies are no longer possessed, instead an evil version of our friend exists alongside her. This will be the case for Kasen and one future boss, and somewhat simplifies pre-battle conversations. We have no reason to negotiate much with this evil twin. The nicer Kasen has shed this doppelganger from herself because she is so deeply ashamed of her past. Supposedly, she was once a textbook ogress, cruel, murderous, possibly even devouring humans. While the redeemed hermit is present, she will not help us against our foe, as she is already physically defeated and mentally resigned in utter self-pity. I've had a really good history with this battle, but that doesn't mean there are no aspects of it you can misunderstand, or that it won't get messy. You can and should start this fight with Aya in the active party, to attack before the pink one gets her first turn, as it will never again be this safe and easy to deal damage as now. Reason being that Disney Princess Kasen will summon her animal friends, Hosho the tiger and Kanda the eagle, now called the Memories of Atrocity and Remorse. Once the pets are active, Kasen gains complete immunity and healing instead of damage from certain elements. Atrocity Guard protects her from Mystic and Nature, Remorse Guard from Spirit and Wind. This is one of the few situations in the game where multi-elemental attacks can be a detriment to you. You have to be perpetually aware what you attack Kasen with, especially when you try to use multi-target attacks. Wriggle is our first newcomer, and surprisingly well suited for the battle. She is your poison specialist, and it's fairly easy to get Kasen afflicted. We may have healed her a little, as the cast was nature, but that's negligible due to Wriggle's rather meek attack stat. The poison should deal around 10,000 damage over its duration, which is really neat when you realize that the guard skills barely matter, as the poisoning itself is not considered elemental in any way. We have taken out Hosho without much trouble, but he will be back. In fact, Kasen is forced to immediately resummon any fallen familiars. Instinctively, what you're likely to try is defeating Hosho and quickly hitting Kasen with a mystic spell before she brings her immunity back. She is incredibly weak to that element, but the timing to pull off this chain of hits is difficult and you may get frustrated. However, if you just keep killing the familiars, you will indirectly make progress no matter what. Hosho is weak to dark and cold attacks, whereas Kanda is weak to fire and physical. Generally, it's much easier to defeat Hosho, as Kanda has pretty strong defenses and even an unusually high dodge rate. That's why most of our attacks will be aimed at the tiger. Nonetheless, you should mix your targets sometimes, as both animal companions unlock very annoying moves if you allow them to get too many turns, like the Remorse's protection we just witnessed. Doremi and Reisen are the two characters we brought against Kanda, as they have very potent fire attacks. I can imagine Chen and Yomu could also perform this job well, but we didn't have the room to take them. When Kasen has nothing to revive and gets to attack, she will be more unpredictable than most bosses. The pink one will randomly pick a move from a pool of fairly generic attacks, yet she will make new additions to that pool as her hit points dwindle. At 68% as Kasen is now, she can already do most of what she's capable of. We've seen her use the inescapable monkey's paw, a somewhat plain physical attack that ironically missed. Just recently, Hermit's Breath was cast, a very potent self-buff. That one is certainly annoying, but most of its effect should have dissipated when it's time to deal more damage to Kasen. Meanwhile, we need to keep defeating summons. The fact that the boss keeps accumulating permanent debuffs on every revive is a hint that we're doing the right thing. Oh boy, Reimu got sniped by Rapsine Prosthetic Arm Proteus, probably Kasen's mightiest single target attack. Since it's Darkness Elemental and targets defense, the Shrine Maiden had practically no hope to make it. A regrettable but manageable loss. All attacks of the Ogress and her pets target defense, so if you dialed your party to have maximized mind against Boss Racen, you definitely want to reverse that before this battle. It's probably a lesson the Fire Stratum has already taught you, as it's notorious for having very formidable random encounters with a lot of bruiser-type enemies. Doremi should be able to shoot Kanda out of the sky with one more cast of Scarlet Nightmare. As said, Kasen gets weaker the longer the fight goes on. Every Hosho she calls lowers attack, every Kanda plummets defenses. After every fourth revive, however, something out of the ordinary happens. We should be just about there. Kasen has something in common with Boss Racen in that she too has the high damage reduction trait, this time with a value of 10,644. It's probably more impactful here than it was back then, as hard hits against the pink one are more expected. Still, you're probably not going to bank everything on a single super nuke from your party. Any hit of around 10,000 damage will still be very solid. Kasen's memories gather around her. That message is what you must watch out for. Both Atrocity and Remorse Guard have been removed. Now you want to hit the Ogress with your best Mystic and Spirit attacks. We switch in Aya to get a consistent string of attacks going. This rushing phase after the fourth revive is not just a gift, there are risks to it. Kasen is charging up a powerful multi-target attack. Which attack that is depends on whether you defeat Hosho and Kanda in time. Luckily, even if both familiars are alive to empower the charged attack, it never quite becomes a battle ender. For me, it always worked to concentrate fire on the boss and switch any glass cannons for tanks and bulky supporters in time for the attack. The best damage dealers here are Doremi, Kogasa, Maribel and Marissa. Our opponent has a little more defense than mind, but neither are exceptional. Especially thanks to the witch, we are approaching victory rapidly. Nonetheless, we don't want to push it. You actually have one more turn after the charge attack before Atrocity and Remorse Guard are restored. Winning this battle in just a single vulnerability cycle is perfectly possible. On unlucky attempts, you may need a second one. It looks like we're going to suffer the attack where only Kanda was able to focus. Hosho may be alive, but he couldn't act in time. If the second phase is initiated by defeating the tiger, that's to be expected, as Kasen is still much faster. With everyone in place, we brace for Remorse Irredeemable, and while it looked all green and brutal, it wasn't that impressive. Even the somewhat expendable Nitori lived. As we restore our lineup, some words about characters that didn't see much spotlight. We brought Cherno, mostly to grant Bakartet's synergy to Wriggle, yet it was never that safe or sensible to switch her in. Alice or Mei Ling could have been good alternatives to her spot. Someone I'm used to getting more out of in this encounter was Kogasa. Since the battle is full of direct attacks, the Karakasa is well suited to it, and she does bring a strong multi-target mystic attack with her. If your Kogasa is at level 50 or above, you have access to the Night Train, an even stronger multi-target attack that won't ever be absorbed as it is of the darkness element. From test attempts, I can tell you that this move really wrecks your foes, but alas, we're fighting Kasen on challenge level, so Kogasa's kit is still limited. We're in a really good spot now. We're hesitating a little to fight the most efficiently, and wondering who to grant the killing blow to. Let Kogasa have the honor. Unexpectedly though, Kanda did not despawn. If you first get to this point, this could be worrisome. Maybe the familiars can revive their handler? But no, we must simply shoot down the bird one more time. This could be an issue if you're on your last leg, but otherwise, the summons alone are not so impactful that this is a threat. At most, Kanda is a little difficult to damage. We haven't said much about Kasen. We brought our Moon Rabbit specifically to fight Kanda, as her Illusion Bomb Star Mine is one of our strongest fire spells. A downside to this is that it costs 1 unit of Red Eyes of Lunacy to cast, Kasen's primary battle resource, which she currently only regains through focusing. Despite this, Star Mine is still an excellent move, as it comes with a shock effect that inflicts fairly often. Like I said at the start, Kasen's boss fight has never been a big problem to me. It is not dialed to be a particularly oppressive encounter, and shouldn't be much of a wall unless your party is badly adjusted to it. With that, the evil persona of Kasen is banished, and only the nice, though very depressed and self-flagellating version remains. We add her to our ranks by telling her that she needs to put her head in the present, and that she can do the most good by helping the party resolve the incident. When it comes to the Hermit as a recruit, I cannot tell you too much about her. Her skill tree revolves around summoning Kanda and Hosho as special buffs to herself, and it reads like one of the most complicated in the game to me. Someone like that could range from not worth bothering with, all the way to a hidden champion. Due to this, I didn't experiment much with Kasen in my original playthrough. The hope that I can find a strategic niche for her in this series is existent, but slim. During this outro, Yugi is mentioned. In fact, the 3 most prominent ogresses of Gensokyo wander the battleground of the Unforgiven. With that, I'm Gesche6, this was Labyrinth of Touhou Try, bis bald!